Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. I am happy that you're with us today. And the reason is that if you're listening to the news cycles, and I'm sure we all are, the stress levels are getting crazy. There's inflation that's out of control. There's war. There's pandemics. There's shootings. There's so many things going on that many people, and I'm seeing this in our practices, many folks are ignoring their health because other things are taking the front burner. They're kind of taking up their time. And so a lot of people coming in saying, Dr. Joe, I've been so stressed out with inflation or my job or whatever it is that I haven't really been paying attention to my blank, fill in the symptom. And so this is not good. This is starting to scare me because I'm seeing people coming in later than they usually do with their health problems, and it's a little harder to fix. So we're going to talk about if you have a health problem, what is it? What it's a symptom of? And then action steps that you need to do specifically for those health problems. Because normally, if you're under stress, well, traditionally, I guess we should say, as evolution came along, if you were attacked, by a warring tribe or a tiger or whatever, your stress levels would skyrocket, and then the threat would be gone, and you'd calm down again. But what we're seeing now with all these issues in the news is that we're having low-grade constant stress. And that's really dangerous. Your body's releasing something called cortisol. And cortisol is your stress hormone. Now, short-term, cortisol is good for you. Long-term, it can lead to things like high blood pressure. It can lead to stroke. It can lead to heart attack. It can lead to obesity, cause you to gain weight. So these long-term stressors are now becoming a reality, and you can't ignore it. I can't change what's happening in the economy, inflation and wars and whatever. But I can tell you what to do if you're having some of these symptoms, what to do about it so that you can address them. And that's what's really important. Now, the one thing that I'm seeing a lot of lately are headaches. We have deadlines piling up. You have family issues. You have the news cycle. You have inflation. You have financial issues. And many people can develop a headache, or what's worse, the type of headache called a migraine. Well, there are many lifestyle medical factors that can cause headaches and migraines. But in February 2014, it was an interesting study. It was the American Academy of Neurology. And it showed that stress is associated with different types of headaches and migraines. Now, I had somebody come in just the other day, and they had like a band around their head. It says, I feel like a band is on my head. My temples hurt. That's usually a stress headache. Migraine headaches are usually specific. You see auras around lights. Sound can become unmanageable. You have to be in a dark, quiet room. So migraines are a little different. But either way, we always want to get to the cause of the problem and not just treat the symptoms. So chronic inflammation in the brain, which can be due to stress or diet, can affect blood flow, and that can trigger these headaches. So what's our action step? Number one treatment for headaches, by far, is chiropractic care. Chiropractic is the most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain and headaches. Now, not all headaches are going to respond to chiropractic care, but most will. So let's start with the basic entry level. Let's start out with chiropractic care, and let's try to get the headaches under control. If it's a pinched nerve, if it's a blocked blood vessel, many times that solves the problem. Diet is also related to headaches. A perfect example is me. I can't do caffeine. I get a headache. I can't do monosodium glutamate. I get a headache. So you got to look at your diet. And a simple thing you can do is go to our website, drjoe.com, and just type in, just look under patient forms. It's under clinic, patient forms. And in the patient forms, we have something called a symptom survey and a diet diary. Look at the diet diary, print it up. Print as many as you want. I have no idea if you're printing it or not. It's off our website. I don't know if you're doing it. And you can do this privately and just write down everything you eat. When I say everything, everything. If you have a piece of gum, if you have a sip of soda, whatever it is, write it down. And then in the margin, mark if you got a headache or not. Usually, if it's a nutritionally induced headache, within a couple of days, you'll see the pattern. Every day at lunch, I have a diet soda, and every day at 4 o'clock, I have a headache. Okay, there's your pattern. It's real simple. I see that if I go out for Thai food or Chinese food, or if I eat packaged chips that have monosodium glutamate in them, I get a headache. Okay, there's your pattern. So many times nutritional, you can figure it out. And if you need us to, we're happy to go over it with you, but it's sometimes really obvious. So if it's a physical thing, come see us. If it's a chemical thing, you need to correct that. And if you don't know what to eat, because sometimes that can be overwhelming, I know, go to our website, drjoe.com, and just type in the words, so what can I eat? Listen to that 1-hour talk I did on what to eat. Now, by the way, our website, over 3,000 hours of podcasts, absolutely free. So you have tons of research and information on the website. It's at your fingertips, and it's my gift to you. So if you're having headaches, it could be due to chronic stress, and then we got to take action steps. I just got an email yesterday that came in, and the patient wanted to know what supplement can they take for their sweet craving. Now, it's interesting because they had asked me that same question 2 years ago. And so when questions come on the website, we have a list of all the questions that you sent us. And I said, you asked this question 2 years ago. Maybe you should take my advice. I didn't say that. I was being a wise guy. But it's no secret that when you don't get enough sleep and you're stressed out, you're going to consume more calories. And a quick way to get calories is through sugar. So if you're not feeling great, you're more likely to reach for the sweets and processed foods because it gives you a quick rush. You get the rush, and then you crash. And then many times what you have to do is you have to get that rush again. That's why people drink coffee throughout the day. That's why people eat sweets throughout the day, because you get high and low and high and low. I don't want that. I want to stabilize your blood sugar. I want you to feel good throughout the day. And it's usually pretty easy to do. So the action step, if you're craving sweets, is simple. You're probably lacking nutrients, and your body's craving you to eat something. Hopefully what you eat has nutrients in it. Usually doesn't, because you're eating junk food. So things like Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, they're 2 powders. They're on our website, drjoe.com. That's the minimum supplements I think most people should be taking. And many countless people have told me over the years, when I take Super Greens and Essential Source, I don't have my sweet cravings. Because you're giving your body tons of nutrients to stabilize the brain. There's another supplement called Gymnema, Gymnema. And if you go to our clinics, under clinics, it's services, and then it has Standard Process as a link. Standard Process is another supplement company that we use. And you can click on that link, go to their website, and order it directly from them. Or we have it in our offices too, usually. But you can't buy directly from Standard Process. You're not allowed. They only sell to healthcare providers. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you a link through my link, using my name to get into their website. And I got their permission to do it. Don't worry. And then you can purchase their supplements there. Okay, the only way you can buy it is through a healthcare professional. So Gymnema is great because it stabilizes the blood sugar and it helps prevent some of those cravings. So if you're doing Super Greens and Essential Source, you're doing dietary changes, you're taking Gymnema, in most cases, a lot of those cravings go away. But here's the thing. You got to get the bad food out of the house. If you have bad food in the house, the chances are you're going to eat them. So get that junk out of the house as quickly as you possibly can. Because if you have sugar in the house, you eat a little bit. And this is what I know, and I'm assuming your brain works like mine does. If I have bread, I want more bread. If I have sweets, I want more sweets. Because once I stimulate what's called the nucleus accumbens in my brain, my nucleus accumbens releases dopamine. Dopamine gives you pleasure. I want more pleasure. And so you have to calm down that nucleus accumbens by not bombarding it with sweets. And so if the bad foods are in the house, you're likely to eat them. So taking Super Greens and Essential Source and Gymnema is great, but you also got to remove the temptation. Lead us not into temptation. Was there a famous something about that? I remember that as a young Catholic boy. Lead us not into temptation. Get the bad food out of the house. Because if it's there, you're probably going to eat it. So what we're talking about today is, in this new environment of nonstop 24-hour-a-day news cycle stress, we're developing some symptoms. A lot of people are developing symptoms. And it's due to the long-term constant stress. And what I'm doing is I'm giving you action steps to take if you have these specific conditions. It's real simple. And our website, drjoe.com, is a great source of information. You just type in what you're looking for, and chances are we've done blogs and articles and radio shows or TV shows on it, and you could listen there. And it's all free. The website is free access to you guys. So if you're constantly craving sweets and I should say fatty foods too, many times you're just nutritionally deficient. But once you start, it's hard to stop. Once you stop, don't start, because then it's hard to stop again. So if the blood sugar levels are unstable and you're a stressful eater, stress releases blood sugar levels into your body. The stress craves your sugar, and then your body releases something called insulin. Now, insulin is a hormone. It's released by your pancreas. It's also produced in other places in the body, mainly in the pancreas, though. And the insulin goes to the cells, opens up the cells, and allows sugar in. So if you're constantly eating a lot of sugar, your body's producing a lot of insulin. So eventually the cells are being bombarded with this sugar constantly. And the cells say, wait a minute, I can't take any more sugar. If I put more sugar in here, I'm going to gunk up my works. So insulin, I'm going to not let you open me up and let sugar in. I'm going to resist you. And that's called insulin resistance. Also known as, say it with me, type 2 diabetes, if it gets bad enough. So if the blood sugar levels are unstable, it becomes a big issue. So if you're sleep deprived, that can mess with your blood sugar. If you're eating a lot of sugar, it can mess with your blood sugar. And that creates the insulin resistance, and that's the problem. So what's our action step? Our action step is we want to eat more high fiber foods. Because when you're eating high fiber foods, like fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, fiber will slowly push the food through the colon and give you a slow release of sugar. If you're eating sugar, pure sugar, candy, cakes, donuts, what happens is you don't have a slow release of sugar because it doesn't have a lot of fiber. You get this big release of sugar. Insulin goes up. Insulin takes the sugar out of the blood. Blood sugar drops. You start craving sugar again. So fiber is going to be a key to getting rid of those sugar cravings and stabilizing the blood sugar. So when I say fiber, what does it look like? Well, plants are fiber. Animals have no fiber in them. So if you eat meat or dairy or butter or cheese or yogurt or ice cream, zero fiber. Eating a salad, lots of fiber. And fibrous foods like carrots, radishes, those are high fiber foods. They work really well. So I want you to consider this, especially in these stressful times. I want you to have something raw at every meal. Broccoli, cucumbers, tomatoes, avocados, salads. Those are great. I had a tomato salad and a cucumber salad today. So raw food is going to give you the enzymes that you need to help break down the food. And it's going to give you the fiber that you need. So consider that more raw food, something raw at every meal. It's not hard to do. It's really easy. An apple works, oranges work, bananas work. But you don't want to do juicing. You don't want to do fruit juices anyway, because fruit juices are like pure sugar. They don't have the fiber in them. Vegetable juices are okay. Even though it doesn't have the fiber, vegetables aren't so high in sugar. So if you're going to do kale or spinach or broccoli, those are all fine. You might want to add maybe a little bit to sweeten it, maybe like a Granny Smith apple or something to give you a little bit of sweetener in there. But the more whole food you eat, the better off you are. And in fact, what's really cool, let's say you juice carrots. You can juice carrots and celery, and then take the pulp, add some onions to it. You can add some vegan mayonnaise if you want to, or maybe some vinegar to it, and make it almost has a consistency of tuna fish. It's kind of cool. And then you get to eat that fiber as well. And the fiber is going to stabilize the blood sugar. And if I had to give diabetics one piece of advice, it would be please eat more fiber. Because the fiber stabilizes that blood sugar, takes the stress off the pancreas, and many times that insulin resistance is reversed. Now, sometimes it gets better, sometimes it totally reverses. So there's so many benefits to eating more plant-based. And if you go to our website, drjoe.com, and just type in, so what can I eat? You can listen to that whole lecture I did on what to eat. Breakfast, lunches, dinner, snacks, stocking your pantry, Christmas parties, raising kids, it's all there. And again, on the website, we have about 3,000 hours of podcast, audio, and video, and it's absolutely free. So that's a great source for you guys to go to when you have questions. Or you can send us questions through the website, drjoe.com. A little bot pops up, just type in your question, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions for you. Okay, so you can send us questions there too. So blood sugar is an issue. Skin breaking out is usually an issue. Now, it could be a lot of different things, but I know when people are under stress, their skin breaks out. It can be hormonal imbalances, could be bacteria, but the high cortisol levels, you're under stress, adrenal glands produce cortisol. High cortisol levels can cause the body to break out, and that's according to the American Academy of Dermatology. Now, if you notice your acne and your breakouts are occurring at the same time as a seriously stressful situation, you realize that I got to get out of that situation. Now, again, I can't handle all your stresses. I can't handle, financial stresses. I can't handle relationship stresses. But my team is really good at physical stresses. If you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, headaches, numbness, tingling, it's exhausting, but it's a constant release of cortisol when you're in pain. So if you have pain, if I have a condition, any condition, I want to use the most effective, least expensive treatment. How do I get that to start with? No matter what it is, my car's broken, my air conditioner's leaking. I want the most effective, least expensive treatment. Well, when you look at your health care, chiropractic care is the most effective, least expensive treatment for pain. there's your answer. If you have pain, start out with chiropractic, the most effective, least expensive. We can always add to that later. We can always do surgeries. We can always do injections. We can always do pain management. But right now, let's start with the most effective, least expensive. So if you have a health condition, now we're talking about pain, but digestive issues, nutritional issues, my team of doctors would love the opportunity to meet with you. And let's see if you have a condition that we can help. So if you want to make an appointment, you can go to our website, drjoe.com, D-R-J-O-E, and you can book it right online or call us. Initially, the first visit is $712, but for my listeners, we've reduced that fee to $299. You get an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, complete nutrition evaluation on a second visit. All of that is included. And we accept most insurances. And if you're ever in a car accident, please, folks, come see us as quickly as possible. If it's not your fault, usually the other person pays for it even. But even if it is your fault, you may have insurance on your car that's going to cover your medical bills, even if it's your fault. It's called MedPay. But you want to make an appointment. Stop suffering needlessly. Come see us, drjoe.com. We have offices in the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. Stop suffering. I would say stop suffering needlessly. The biggest complaint I get is, why didn't I do this sooner? Don't be one of those patients. drjoe.com. We want to see you. We can usually get you an appointment within 24 to 48 hours. drjoe.com. So we talked a little bit about cortisol there. I kind of went off on a tangent there. But if your skin is breaking out, that can be due to stress. So what we need to do is lower the cortisol levels in the body. So supplement-wise, there's a supplement called Dr. Joe's Adrenal Support. It's on the website, drjoe.com. And I take it every single day. It has substances in it called adaptogens. And adaptogens help your body adapt, that's where the word comes from, adapt to the stressful situations that you're in. I take 2 a day. It says take 1 a day, I take 2 a day, just because I want to make sure my adrenals are adapting, because the adrenal glands produce a lot of things. They produce energy, they produce anti-inflammatories, they produce hormones. And if the adrenal glands are burned out, you might get bags under your eyes, chronic fatigue syndrome. So adrenal support. And also when I see the skin breakout, I always think of liver. So many cases have come to me, adult acne, childhood acne, and we get their liver straightened out and the skin clears up. Because the liver can't handle all the junk that's being produced in the body, so it gets rid of it and it passes it out through the skin. So there's another supplement called Livton. It's not on our website. It's on Standard Process website. But I recommend, excuse me, the minimum supplements would be Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. That's the minimum supplements you should be taking. Those are 2 powders. They taste great. They're on the website. Then with skin conditions, I would get glutathione. Glutathione is on the website, and glutathione is great for the liver. And then I would add Livton, Livton, and that's on the Standard Process website. Again, you have questions about this, just call us. We do this all day, every day. And so supplements can be extremely helpful in high-stress times. And boy, folks, we are in a high-stress time right now. And that's why I can't imagine people not taking supplements. They're so inexpensive. They're so effective. They're so easy to take. I can't imagine why the whole world isn't screaming, hey, take Super Greens and Essential Source to start your day. Hey, take Livton, take glutathione if you have a liver issue. Hey, take adrenal support if you have high cortisol levels. We have the answers. You don't have to dig any further. We have the answers for most of your healthcare problems. So if the skin is breaking out, that's what we do for that. So what we're talking about today are symptoms that patients are coming into our offices with, especially since the stress level due to the news cycles have just gone crazy. Because it's, like I said, it's war, there's famine, there's inflation, there's pandemics, and there's shutdowns, and so it's crazy, and people can't get people to work. I was going to say there's not enough jobs. There's plenty of jobs. People just don't want to work. And so you're seeing airlines canceling 1,000 flights a day because they don't have enough pilots. They don't have enough flight attendants. So, yeah, it's a stressful time. But there's no reason why you shouldn't have to deal with it with no action steps. I'm giving you the action steps. Many times during stressful times, you'll start to see fine lines and wrinkles around your face, around your mouth. That's usually due to stress. And 2014 study in the allergy and inflammation and allergy drug targets say that when people are under stress, they'll see psoriasis, skin rashes. Once again, we go back to the liver. And we go back to making sure that you're eating the right foods like super greens and essential source. And all those are on the website, drjoe.com. Another thing that happens when we're in these crazy news cycles is I start to see people getting things like shingles, cold sores, rashes. Shingles is caused by a viral infection, and it travels along usually a nerve route. It travels along a nerve. So it infects the nerve, and then you get these bubbly blisteries along the skin. Now, if you have the virus in your body, most of us do, it can lay dormant, and when you're stressed, it can reactivate it. And that's according to the National Institute on Aging. Same goes when herpes. Shingles is a herpes virus. There's over 100 different herpes viruses. There's type 1, there's type 2, there's shingles, there's a bunch of other ones. So herpes outbreaks skyrocket when people are stressed out as well. So what's my action step for that? I want you to avoid peanuts. What? What do peanuts have to do with viral outbreaks? Peanuts are high in something called arginine. And arginine can stimulate viral outbreaks, especially herpes outbreaks. So I would strongly stay away from peanuts because peanuts are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which cause inflammation, but they can also cause the body to have these viral outbreaks. So reduce your peanut intake and increase your immunity. So what you want to do is go to our website, drjoe.com, and type in the word immunity and listen to the show we did on immunity. But for herpes viruses specifically, we want to lower our arginine levels. And arginine is high in nuts, but especially high in peanuts. And that's why so many people, they start going to baseball games. They start getting herpes outbreaks. They start going to circuses. They get herpes outbreaks. Why? You're eating peanuts. A lot of people don't eat peanuts in their regular life, but in a certain situation, like a ball game or a circus, they do, and that can cause more viral outbreaks. So it's as simple as that. Now, as far as supplements go for viral outbreaks, we have something called Dr. Joe's Wellness Booster and Dr. Joe's Seasonal Tonic. Wellness Booster helps stabilize your blood sugar always. And in the winter, I take it every day. If I'm under a stressful situation, I take it that day. Seasonal Tonic is specifically when you are sick. And it has ginger, horseradish, cayenne pepper, onion, garlic, and it causes the immune system to really go into overdrive and can help viruses, germs, bacteria, pathogens, fungus. So super greens and essential source, of course, minimum supplements, vitamin D, vital for the immune system, and then Wellness Booster and Seasonal Tonic are on the website, drjoe.com. Now, again, if you have questions about any of this, you could always email me questions through the website, drjoe.com. If you're a podcast junkie, let's assume you love podcasts. A lot of people do. I do. Go to your podcast server and type in Dr. Joe for the health of it. Dr. Joe for the health of it. And you get hundreds of hours of podcasts just like this, absolutely free. So you can listen, you can become get addicted to these podcasts like a lot of people do. And just like you can stream TV shows, now you can stream podcasts as well. So it's Dr. Joe for the health of it. Please follow us on social media. My handle is at Dr. Joe Esposito because we post every single day. We post when we're doing podcasts. We post when we're doing live shows. Post when we're doing chats. And so if you have health questions, I'm happy to be your source to ask those questions to. I have most answers. I don't have every answer, but I have many answers. If I don't have the answer, I can usually direct you on where to get it. Because the big question people have is, I don't know where to go, Dr. Joe. I don't know who to ask this question for. Or to. Well, now you have me, and I want to be accessible to you. So at Dr. Joe Esposito is our handle. Our website is drjoe.com. The podcast, Dr. Joe for the health of it. And on our website, by the way, we have over 3,000 hours of podcast now. And if you follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, we post every week. So there's always new information there as well. But folks, most importantly, if you have a health question or a problem, come see us in the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb, drjoe.com. We'll be right back. Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate that. A lot of people are busy and they're stressed out and they don't have to take time for their own health. And so I appreciate you doing that. And in fact, if you're one of those people and you are taking time out for your health, I'm going to do this show dedicated just to you. Because what we're covering today are symptoms that pop up when you're stressed out. And a lot of you don't realize that it's due to the stress that you're under, whether it's news cycles or financial or inflation or stock market crashing or war. So we're surrounded by stress, lately a lot more than usual. And so a lot of people are having symptoms, healthcare problems. And so we're talking about these specific problems that can pop up when you're stressed out. And then, of course, what action step to take, because that's the most important thing. If you have no action step, it doesn't do you a darn bit of good. So High blood pressure. This is common, the people that are stressed out. And there's three types of stress. There's chemical, there's mental, there's physical stress. The chemical stress is your diet. So if you go to our website, drjoe.com, very easy. Type in 7 deadly sins of nutrition in the search bar. And you can listen to a lecture that I did out in California to a large group of people. And we talk about the 7 foods you want to start avoiding, cutting back at least, preferably cutting out. And so listen to that, and they'll tell you what not to eat. Then I have a second show called So What Can I Eat? It's not even a show, it's more of a talk. But that's on the website too. So 7 deadly sins of nutrition, type that in, listen to it. Then type in, so what can I eat? Listen to that. And that'll give you good insight as to what to eat, what not to eat. So that addresses the chemical stress. The emotional stress oftentimes comes from your life, of course. But many times when there's emotional stress, there's a digestive problem. Because your stomach has one essential job, and that job is to take proteins, whether that protein is from steak or from wheat or whatever it is, unravel it, chop it up into amino acids. Now, the amino acids then are utilized in the brain to produce neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are the chemicals that make your brain work. So tryptophan becomes serotonin. Serotonin makes you happy. Glutamine becomes GABA, which suppresses pain and suppresses a lot of other emotional issues. Tyrosine becomes dopamine, which gives you pleasure. So fixing the digestive system many times fixes a lot of the mental stress. Now, I can't fix the fact that there's an inflationary issue going on. I can't fix the fact you lost a loved one or a relationship broke up. Those I can't control. But if I can fix your digestive system and get you eating the right foods to give the body the raw materials, then the emotional stress is a lot easier to deal with. So physically, my team of doctors are really good at physical stress. Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, headache, sciatica, numbness, tingling. So come see us for that. Digestive issues, you want to come see us as well, because many times we can adjust or pull the stomach away from the diaphragm so that the acid reflux, the heartburn, the burping, the gas and bloating will start to go away because you're fixing the cause. And then we get you on a nutritional protocol. And most times we get great results. I had a patient come in the other day, and she was a young girl, and she was very overweight, and hormones were just crazy. 14 years old, hormones were just nuts. And I said, I think you might have polycystic ovarian syndrome. And her mother said, oh my God, how did you know that? Pretty good at this stuff. So we talked about balancing the hormones and getting the estrogen, the testosterone balanced, and it was just amazing. They were both so thrilled. Because she said, we've been so many other doctors, nobody has an answer for us. I said, yeah, we almost always have an answer and action steps that we can do. And so that's why it's nice that we have this way of communicating so that I can share a lot of this knowledge with you. And so when stress comes in the body, the chemical stress, it's food usually. It could be environmental too, but let's get the food under control. The physical stress my team is good at, and then if we fix the digestive system and get your body breaking foods down properly, you're better able to deal with the emotional stress. All 3 of those stresses can raise your blood pressure. You thought I forgot about blood pressure, didn't you? Stress is a major factor for hypertension and cardiovascular disease. When you're constantly dealing with this nonstop intake of stressors, emotional, chemical, physical, financial, it incites a physiological response to increase your blood pressure. Your body's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Let me say that again. When you have high blood pressure, your body's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's raising the blood pressure to try to keep you alive. Now, long-term effects are extremely dangerous and can kill you. But ironically, the body's doing exactly what it's supposed to do when you have high blood pressure. And high blood pressure can lead to increased risk of stroke, heart attack, dementia, brain malfunction, sexual dysfunction. So if you go to our website, drjoe.com, and just listen to the show we did on blood pressure, type in blood pressure and listen to that show. It gives you a lot of insights as to what to do. Now, when there's emotional issues, it could be due to the stomach up against the diaphragm. That can irritate something called the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve controls your blood pressure, and so that can raise your blood pressure as well. So many times when I see patients with high blood pressure, it's not necessarily a chemical problem, it's a physical problem. The stomach is up against the diaphragm, irritating the vagus nerve. It could be a pinched nerve in the neck irritating the vagus nerve. So many times we fix the physical and the blood pressure goes away. And I love when patients come in and say, Dr. Joe, my blood pressure's been doing great. I've been co-managing it with their medical doctor, their primary care doctor. Well, I'm doing so good, they've reduced my medications. I'm doing so good, they've taken me off my medications. I can't take you off your medication. I can teach you how to get well enough so hopefully you don't need your medication. Follow that? And that's my goal. Get you well enough so you don't need a lot of the outside intervention. Let's fix the cause, not just treat the symptoms. Now, if you're having blood pressure issues and you're stressed out, you may also see that you start having some breathing issues. Now, speaking of breathing, shortness of breath, heart palpitations, asthma symptoms have all been linked to increased levels of stress and anxiety. April 18th, study of allergy and clinical immunology found that children of women who experience stress and anxiety during pregnancy are more likely to develop asthma and other breathing disorders. And that's an issue. When my mother was pregnant with me, my father fell off a ladder, broke his back, fractured his skull, and went deaf immediately. This was 4 months before I was born. So my mother's pregnant with me. She's at home with a 3-year-old, my sister. My father's in and out of a coma in a body cast, and plus she's trying to give birth to me. So 3 months later comes along, I'm born, 4 months, whatever it was. I'm born, and the stress level was unbelievable. She wasn't sure if my father would live or die. She really didn't have any discernible skills. She was essentially a housewife her whole life, and she was 24 and she had me. So we start looking at this, and we say, okay, what effect does that have on the fetus? That would be me. Well, I have exercise-induced asthma. If I start working out really hard, I can't get my breath. So when I had these conditions, I didn't know as much as I know now, but when I went to a chiropractor first time, they found the lower part of my neck, that bone, the 7th cervical, 1st thoracic vertebrae, was out of place. And I said, that's the nerve supply to your lungs. So I went in there and adjusted me, and that helped a lot. Then I found out my stomach was up against my diaphragm. So I couldn't get air in because my diaphragm couldn't drop down to make room in my lungs because my stomach was pushing up against it. So when I finally figured out these stomach adjustments, and that took me years and years and years to figure out, we can adjust the nerve to an organ. We can move the organs themselves in most cases, in this case, the stomach. And then we can avoid the things that were causing a lot of my exercise-induced asthma, like dairy products, very high mucus-producing food, wheat, highly mucus-producing. And then I came up with the 7 deadly sins. So a lot of the things I teach you is from my own personal life. This is what I had to deal with healthcare. I had to figure out how to fix it, and I tell you. And so it's not hard to figure out because I did it for you. Now, I can't tell you how many doctors and physicians, clinicians, nurse practitioners, physician's assistants, nurses come to me after listening to the shows and say, you know, Doc, I never thought of it like that before. That's brilliant. It makes sense. I love when a patient say that makes sense. I always joke the three words I want a woman to whisper in my ear. That makes sense. Because it does make sense. And medicine is not designed to make sense. Medicine is designed to keep you alive, if necessary, and manage your symptoms. We try to get to the cause of your problems so you don't have to manage your symptoms. Follow? Now, sometimes you need medicine. Sometimes you need surgery. Sometimes you need drugs. Absolutely. There's no reason to turn our back on innovation, a technology that we have, but I want to reduce our need for that as much as possible. So, breathing disorders many times can be caused by stress, but it could be the stomach up against the diaphragm, could be a pinched nerve. I've already had the worst case I ever saw in my career as a patient was having a full-blown asthma attack, could not get a breath. I mean, they were gasping. I mean, really scary. So I remember I laid him on the table, adjusted his neck, and instantly went, and was able to breathe. How cool is that? So it's kind of neat that there are things that we can do in many cases without drugs and surgery to get the body well. And when you're stressed out, it manifests itself as symptoms. Let's get to the cause of those symptoms. And then the body's better able to deal with the stress. I can't remove the stresses. I can remove the cause of the stresses in many cases, and that works nicely. And then if the body's healthy, it's better able to deal with those other stresses. Another sign that we can have a stressful issue is your libido is low. When you're under a lot of pressure, your sex drives can take a hit. That's because, according to February 15th study in Frontiers of Neuroscience, stress, anxiety, and depression lower your testosterone levels. So it's always a wake-up call when you get your blood work done and the blood work comes back and says your testosterone levels are low. Now, one of the problems I have with the way we measure testosterone is that we usually measure for like a 30-year-old man. And if you're not a 30-year-old man, your testosterone is going to be different. But what happens is if the testosterone is low, the estradiol, which is there's 3 types of estrogen. Estradiol is one of them. That helps with hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, fertility. And progesterone, which is another female hormone, but men have it too, helps with anxiety, sleep, and mood. So what we can do is several things. Number one is we can give you an exogenous source. We can give you testosterone. I tried this once. I wanted to see what it was like. So I went to one of the medical doctors we were working with, said, you want to try testosterone? I mean, just like, you want to try candy? I said, yeah, sure. So I took 3 half doses, half dose for 3 weeks. I felt great. Oh my gosh. So I went back and I had my blood work done. And the doctor looked at me and says, you need to stop immediately. And I took 3 half doses. I was supposed to take a lot more. And I only took half doses. He said, your testosterone level is off the chart. He says, your testicles and your adrenal glands are producing testosterone like crazy. We need to stop this immediately. It was dangerously high. So I never took it again. Then my testosterone dropped, and then it normalized again. So what we want to do is try to do the things to build up the testosterone naturally, not take a stimulant or something along those lines. So a couple of things that can happen. Number one, stress lowers your testosterone levels. We know that. Muscle mass. If you just start exercising, and you don't have to hit the gym and spend money, you can get rubber bands real cheap. They're called workout rubber bands. And you can just do pecs and do triceps and do biceps and do back muscles. I have what a posture medic it's called. It's a posture thing. It's made out of it's rubber bands, and it pulls your shoulders back. So one day I was wearing it, and I thought, I wonder how this would work as a workout tool. And sure enough, now that's how I do my workups. I wake up in the morning, and I'll do biceps, triceps, back, abs, and I'll just do it as I'm getting ready for work. Because I find I don't like taking time out of my day to do that, but if I can weave it into my schedule, it's a lot easier. So I can just stand there while I'm making my tea in the morning or something like that, and I can do 25 or 30, pec workouts, and then I can do triceps, and I can do biceps. And I can work it into my day so that I don't have to say, I got to go to the gym. I got to block out this time to work out. Work it in. These are even waterproof. You can take them into the shower with you. Go in the shower and put your conditioner on and do a quick set. So it's not hard to do when you start thinking about what works best for you. Some people love an hour away at the gym. That's great. I don't. I like to weave things into my regular life. And that's why I garden. That's why I like to do housework. That's why I like to do yard work, because that's a workout too. You get moving. And I remember my grandfather, my German grandfather, mountain of a man, and a big, even to the day he died, you could still see he had muscles under there. And I was in high school, and I was working out with my uncle, and I would jog to my uncle's house. He lived in the same town as me, and we'd do weightlifting. And my grandfather saw me doing this one day, and he said, you want muscles? Here's a shovel. Go dig a hole. What a profound statement. Build up practical muscles. You can build up biceps and triceps and look really good. And I want you to do that. That's great to build up testosterone, to build muscle mass. But it's better to build practical muscles. In the long term, that's what you're going to need in life. So building up muscle mass is important. Hormone balancing is important when your libido is low, because cortisol is counteract testosterone. I take Dr. Joe's men's hormone support. It's the precursor to hormones, and I take that. It's on the website, drjoe.com. I take nitric oxide every day. Nitric oxide opens up your blood vessels and increases circulation, so you have more energy, but it increases circulation to your brain, to your sex organs. So the body is working more efficiently. And then, of course, the minimum supplements everybody should be taking are Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Now, you don't want to go on a low-fat diet, a no-fat diet, because I don't want you to add extra fat, but you need fat to produce hormones. Okay, you need the fat in foods. So a no-fat diet is not a good idea. It'll burn fat, but it's going to affect your hormones. So have a quarter of an avocado every day. Have a half an avocado. Have a handful of nuts. Don't eat too much, because fatty foods make you fat, but natural fats from fruits and vegetables are a great way to keep the fat in there so your body can produce those hormones. So we're talking today about stress. And when you're under stress, these symptoms I'm starting to see pop up. I'm seeing this pattern develop of people getting all these symptoms, and it's worrying me. I'm really afraid because we don't know what to do with these symptoms. And people don't realize it's due to stress. And we're talking today about what, if you have the symptoms, what to do about them, what action steps you need to take, because I can't change the stressors that are around you. I can't change the environment. I can't change the financial situation that you might be in, but we can change how you deal with these things. So if you have a health issue, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, headaches, you've ever been in a car accident, sports injuries, please come see us, folks. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. My team of doctors are waiting to serve you. So if you're serious about wanting to get to the cause of your healthcare problems, drjoe.com, you can book it right online or you can call us. We're happy to book you an appointment. We can usually do it within 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours. We accept almost all insurances known to man. There are a few that are weird, that are closed networks, and they've been closed for 10 years. And so we try to accept everything we possibly can. So if you have questions, you can call my staff. They'll answer it for you. Normally, the first visit is $712. We've reduced that for our listeners to $299. You can't get the x-rays anywhere else for $299. And you're getting exam, x-rays, first treatment, consultation, whole nutrition evaluation. That's worth almost $299. Going over the x-rays, treatment plan. There's only two things I ask. Number one, if you're serious about wanting to get well, please make an appointment right away. Don't waste time, because the quicker we get to it, the easier it is to work with. If you're just kicking tires, don't come in. My doctors are really busy, and I want to work with people that want to get well. If you're just kicking tires, you're just curious, send me a question through the website, drjoe.com. I'm happy to answer your questions, but make an appointment if you're ready to get well. Number two, please show up, or at least call us. If you don't show up, you took that time away from somebody else, and that's not nice. We had doctors waiting for that patient, we had rooms reserved, we had paperwork reserved. And if you don't show up, it's very expensive, not just in finances for wherever you're going, whether it's a restaurant or a doctor's office or wherever, but it's also taking that away from somebody else. And that person may have needed it. They do need it. And so that's not nice. So please show up if you make an appointment, but we'd love to see you, drjoe.com. And if you're ever in a car accident, please, if the car's damaged, you're damaged. I've never seen it any other way. So please come see us. When you're stressed out, sometimes you have trouble getting pregnant for men and women. 2018 study of more than 4,000 women published in the American Journal of Epidemiology showed that women with higher stress levels had a harder time conceiving. Now, chiropractic care many times is your magic bullet for trying to make babies for men and women. The nerves in the low back control the colon, sex organs, and bladder. So if you have a pinched nerve in the low back, it can affect how the colon, sex organs, and bladder work for men and women. We've had many women over the years unable to get pregnant after getting chiropractic care. We're able to. In fact, I have a funny story from maybe 20, 30 years ago. A woman named Mary came to see us, and she had low back pain, and her husband didn't want her to go to chiropractor, wanted to go to a medical doctor and get certain, drugs and injections and everything, and they were also having trouble getting pregnant. So I told her, I said, Mary, this is the nerve to your uterus and your ovaries. Don't be surprised if you get pregnant. So anyway, a couple months go by. Sure enough, she turns up pregnant. It was great. So she was so excited, and she said, I told my husband I needed to come here. I told him this is what I needed. So in a move of revenge, she actually embroidered a sweatshirt, and she wore it every day that I remember, and it said, Dr. Joe got me pregnant. So she said she did that just to annoy her husband, and I guess it worked. But she had a son, and I'm assuming everything's fine. It's been 20, 30 years now. But yeah, many times pinched nerves can affect how any organs works, liver, spleen, kidneys, gallbladder. So that's where chiropractic care comes in as not only a pain treatment, but also getting to the cause of the problems. So we're talking today about stress and how stress can cause symptoms to pop up. If you start forgetting things, if you start feeling like brain fog, that's stress many times. And we want to get you on a good diet. We want to stay away from saturated fats. Saturated fats like animal proteins, meat, butter, cheese, yogurt, eggs, ice cream. Because saturated fats can clump your red blood cells together. And red blood cells clump together, they can't carry oxygen. And the brain needs oxygen, stimulation, and nutrition in order to work. So one of the things you can do if you start feeling like you're getting brain fog is go to our website, drjoe.com, and listen to podcast after podcast after podcast. Because there's so much information there, it's going to stimulate the brain. It's exercise for the brain. If you're a podcast junkie and use a service, Go to your service and type in Dr. Joe for the health of it, whatever podcast service you use. Dr. Joe for the health of it. And every chance you get, just pop on a new podcast. That's going to stimulate your brain. And that's part of a protocol to get the brain working. I would say minimum supplements everybody should be taking would be Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, because your brain cannot run if it doesn't have nutrients. The body cannot run if it doesn't have nutrients. And you're eating meats and dairy and cookies and sodas and chips, and you're thinking your brain's going to work. It can't. It has to have nutrition. The body needs nutrition in order to work. So minimum supplements, I think everybody should be taking Super Greens and Essential Source. They're on the website, drjoe.com. And then nitric oxide. Nitric oxide opens up your blood vessels and increases circulation to the brain. So again, I can't get rid of the external stresses that you may be having, but we can work on the internal stresses, the pain, the digestive issues, the nutrient deficiencies that so many people are suffering. Now, the good news is we have a new flavor of Super Greens out. We have regular, we have mint, and now we have hemp. And a lot of people coming back saying they love the hemp. It's very soft, it's mellow, it's nutty. So if you tried the other Super Greens, you might want to try the hemp on your next round and see how that works. Now, I want you to follow us on social media because we post things like supplements. Sometimes we give away supplements. Sometimes they're on sale. Sometimes we have live lectures and we give away tickets. We've given away tons of tickets to who? Our social media followers. I had concert tickets one day. I couldn't go. I gave them away to somebody who follows us on social media. So follow us on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn. We want to get this information to you every way we possibly can. And if you have ideas or questions or comments, you could send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. Little bot pops up. Type in your question, send it off. Make sure you put your email address in, and either me or my assistant, Joe, are going to get back to you as quickly as we possibly can. But as far as supplements go, all the supplements are on our website, drjoe.com. We have like 18 different ones. Look at them. See which ones might fit your needs. And you can pick them up in our offices. That'll save you some shipping. But the shipping's real cheap. It's only a couple of dollars. And we can get those supplements out to you. I can't imagine anyone not wanting to have a normally functioning nervous system, a normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition. These are the things that we need to fix. And with this digestive system, I take a digestive enzyme every time I eat a cooked meal. If my stomach is up against my diaphragm, I have one of my doctors pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. I check the nerve supply to my digestive system. And so now we're able to have normally functioning nervous system, normally functioning digestive system, good nutrition. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that, because that's the key. That's the secret to starting a healthcare plan. It's not the only things, but it's really important. Without those three things, yoga and exercise and working out and meditation, all of those aren't going to work nearly as well if you don't get the core things fixed, the nervous system, digestive system, and diet. If you'd like to make an appointment, folks, in the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb, go to our website, drjoe.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.